Hello friends, John Dalton here, Further Emergence podcast, where we explore consciousness, the mystery and love. And in this episode we are going into ownership, staying soft and fluffy, well wishes, resilience, ease, acceptance, self-love, having an open heart, and then we have a question about infatuation. First, let's have a quick review of the memes on the Further Emergence Instagram feed. I didn't write this one. This one it's actually an art installation by Scottish artist Robert Montgomery, but it's very good because what it says, very simple, it says, all palaces are temporary palaces. And that's such a good thing to remember because, if we kind of said all houses are temporary houses, it doesn't convey it. When you say palaces, you kind of, there's this feeling of, even if you're not aspirational about owning a palace, there's something about, it sort of speaks to something of like, wow, even if you had a palace, it's still a temporary palace, And it's such a good thing to remember because you could say that our bodies are a bit like a palace and we sort of feel, very attached to them, but it's all temporary. Everything's temporary. We only have everything on loan. Even, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, that. It's all on loan. They can't take it with them. And I feel blessed that I knew that from a really early age. I just wasn't interested in anything that I couldn't take with me. It's why I'm interested in consciousness, because it seems like that's one of the few things that does seem to, or it's got the best chance of coming with me. My inner life, my inner world. So yeah, it's beautiful. All palaces are temporary palaces. Next one is about the sheep. I get a kind of kick out of annoying the algorithm with this one. It's a picture of a sheep, very fluffy, woolly sheep. And originally when I heard about it, it was a story it was told as this is true, okay? But every time I post this now, I get the fact-checking thing saying, this is not correct. And before that, I got people telling me this is not correct. And really, I don't care, because it's not like, the sheep is going to be upset about me, misquoting them or the story. It's like, oh, that's not actually true, man. I didn't do that. It's not exactly true. There are no wolves in New Zealand, man, I don't know why I think the sheep talks like that. But anyway, so I changed it this time. I thought, okay, I don't want to be upsetting the algorithm. I don't want to be getting the fact checkers, all of which are robots anyway. But anyway, I changed it from, phrasing it as if it was a real story to a fairy tale. So I changed the beginning to once upon a time. I still got the fact check thing anyway. So I don't know whether it's just going on image recognition. Anyway, the story is, once upon a time, this sheep escaped from a farm and spent 6 years in the mountains, during which time he grew 60 pounds of wool. That's a lot of wool. Wolves tried to eat him, but their teeth could not penetrate the floof. Moral of the story, you don't have to turn hard to survive the wolves. Just be really, really soft and fluffy. I mean, why get upset about that story, the people were like, there's no wolves in New Zealand. The sheep's name was actually Shrek, and he didn't this and he didn't that. And okay. It's like somebody left a comment the other day about something, one of the reels on the Instagram thing. And it was really kind of poignant, what I was saying was pretty, it was good. It was one of the good ones, And this person left a comment, did you get distracted when you were cutting your hair? It looks half finished. It's very distracting. I was just smiling to myself going, man, if my hair is distracting you from what I'm saying, you are listening to the wrong person, meaning I'm not the person for you, There are other people who have good haircuts or have their hair cut the right way or whatever. Not that I think my haircut is wrong or anything. I'm just playing dress-ups, I'm just enjoying myself. So that that part of it didn't bother me, but it was more like, I just really felt for them. Like, if that's what's distracting you from what I'm saying, well, I am definitely not the person to be listening to. And it's kind of like that. If you're getting upset about the facts in this story, which is obviously, a kind of fable, it's a fairy tale, it's a myth, you could say. No. Anyway, it's a beautiful story and it's true. If you The tendency when the wolves attack is to, go out and buy some armor. But from working with lots of people and myself, armor is heavy and constricting. And you end up being trapped inside your own little prison inside. And whereas if you actually lean into the softness and the fluffiness, you survive in a more enjoyable way. I didn't write this one, but it's very nice. It's just a mirror, and on the mirror is written, I hope you heal from the things you won't talk about. And I hope nothing hurts you for too long. And I hope life is treating you better now. And it's just a very nice thing to read, isn't it? It's just a very nice thing to come across. But what's very good is to run this by somebody who has wronged you, or an old relationship, particularly if it ended badly. I hope you heal from the things you don't talk about, There's something very powerful about that, People often talk about things, but the things we don't talk about, they're the things that are the deepest wounds, So hoping that the person heals from them, that's beautiful. And then I hope nothing hurts for too long. That's a beautiful wish, isn't it, for anybody? And I hope life's treating you better now. It's all beautiful. Such a lovely wish for everyone, isn't it? So I wish that for you. I was going to say it goes without saying, but sometimes you have to say it. I didn't write the next one either, and it's kind of a follow-on. It says, you have made it through every single worst moment of your life, in quotes. Have no doubts that you'll continue to survive and thrive. And that's beautiful. It's a beautiful statement. That you've survived every worst moment of your life. I remember, I think it's about 4 or 5, no, it's not, it's longer now. It's about 7 years ago. I was in the middle of meditating and I was concerned about something that was happening. And then suddenly, just popped up out of the mystery, it said, you've already lived through the worst day of your life. And I knew the day that I was thinking about. And I was like, oh, that was the worst day? I was like, yeah. And it was very liberating. It was like, oh, okay, well, I survived that. And it's never going to be that painful again. Nope. And when I'm putting a voice to knowledge, there were no words. It was just knowledge. And it was so freeing, It was like, oh, okay. And I've never been able to get really worried about anything since then. And I think that's what I like about the sentiment in this, that you've made it through every worst moment of your life. And that realization I had that I've lived through the worst day of my life, that was really helpful. And I'm only telling you because maybe, you might go, oh, okay, maybe I am too. Maybe I have too. I did write this next one and I made the meme, but I didn't come up with it myself. I heard somebody else saying it. I thought it was great. And it's really simple. It says, work like work is easy, move like moving is easy, and relate like relating is easy. And there's some lovely thing there where you sort of, I suppose it's like, I never liked that thing, fake it till you make it, because it's something about the word fake makes me feel like, oh, it's about being fake, and I'm, don't like that. But there's something about this idea of doing stuff. I'm going to do something as if it's easy, like I'm going to work like work is easy. I'm going to move like moving is easy. Because what I found is when you do this, it actually is a bit easier. So I recommend it. Didn't write the next one. Really powerful, very short. The only way out is through. It's one of those terrifyingly true statements. And if you can accept that, it makes everything go a lot quicker. It doesn't make it easier, it just makes it go quicker. Because often we head towards something, we see it on the horizon, and then we're like, nope. And then we take a left turn, take a right turn, take any turn around, start running the opposite direction. But you can't get away from things on the inside. In my experience, I've never been able to get away from anything. Eventually, I run out of steam, and I have to face it. And that's why this is, terrifyingly true. That the only way out is through, meaning just now I run towards it. not in a masochistic way, but I'm just like, okay, let's get it done. While being gentle with myself, just being, I'm not destructive in that, but I don't have any resistance to it now. I'm kind of like, okay, let's move forward towards this thing. Let's be kind to myself. Let's be gentle, but let's know that the quickest way out of this is through it. Very powerful. Didn't write this one. Love yourself more. Do one small thing a day to treat yourself like someone you care about. I really like this one because it doesn't say love yourself or anything like that, which can be very difficult, But just this idea of like stepping outside yourself and treating yourself as if you are someone you care about. Because it's easy to kind of know how you treat somebody you would care about, but then to fold that back and point it towards yourself, that's a nice way into accessing your self-compassion. Doing one small thing a day, just one little thing a day. You can beat yourself up the rest of the other 23 and a half hours, but just do one small thing a day, like for someone, to treat yourself like someone you care about. I mean, obviously, I don't encourage you to beat yourself up, but it's just a way in, because when it's up in you and when you're covered with self-loathing, it can be really hard to get out of it. But if you can just, do one little thing, it can open the door and compassion can come in. I did write the next one. It's about our heart, and it's kind of comes from kind of new information I discovered or learned about the way the heart, the structure of the heart is and how it works. And it's called the open heart. The heart is often described as a pump, clenching like a fist to drive blood around the body, but that's not what's really going on. As we develop embryologically, the heart begins as a ribbon of muscle that folds around itself to form the heart. The heart doesn't clench in on itself to pump blood. Instead, it moves in an unraveling motion, stretching out to return to that flat ribbon shape. Instead of pumping blood, the stretching and unraveling motion causes a vacuum that sucks blood around the body. This is a beautiful distinction because it highlights that our hearts are continually opening and expanding. An opening and expanding heart is a lovely focus for right now. Let my heart open continuously to love. That's beautiful, isn't it? So instead of thinking about your heart like clenching and squashing the blood around, it's like it's continually opening and creating a vacuum, and a vacuum is very close to the mystery. There's more to it than that. Like your heart is not a pump as such, it's more of a transitory station, but this idea of opening and a vacuum, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way of thinking about it and expanding. And this thing of like an opening and expanding heart's a lovely focus for right now. It's always right now, and it's always a lovely focus. A lot of activity on the training front this week. People getting back to me saying how helpful they're finding the different trainings I have. So if you don't know about them, I have a meditation training. It's not like other meditation trainings. The focus isn't on actually meditation. It's on growing your consciousness. So if that's of interest to you, you'll find it helpful. And then the dealing with the psychic world training, a lot of people getting back saying they're finding that really helpful. It's basically how to navigate the psychic world to get to the mystery and not get distracted by it. How to deal with, psychic entities, psychic attack, possession, all that sort of stuff. That training is great for that kind of thing. And then I have a craniosacral therapy masterclass training. That's very good it's good for lots of different modalities and just working with people generally. But the specific focus is craniosacral therapy. I had a question come in on the Further Emergence Discord channel. It said, a couple of months ago, I had a platonic crush with someone. I haven't had one of those for many years. At a retreat, you said it was the energy of the person that we are attracted to. Could you expand on this idea? Why and what for do we have a crush on someone? What useful information for our growth in consciousness can we search on this? I wonder if there's something about that energy that I sense that I would need to explore in my own personality. I wonder if there's something about that energy that I sense that I would need to explore in my own person and life. Well, what I was saying about having crushes or infatuations or feelings of love or fixation on people is that it's often what the person represents to us, you know. We can be around that person, or when we think about that person, we feel a certain way on the inside. And because we're predisposed towards being specific in our affection, it's very like you can love the sky, you can love a sunset, you can love a forest, but it's very big and spacious and diffuse. It's very hard to love it the way, love it in the specific way that you experience yourself. But another person, well, that's just as focused as you are. So you can love them the same way as you experience love. So we have a different kind of experience of love with, animals or people. So the thing to keep coming back to is it's very easy to think that it's all to do with the other person. Because when you come back to your own experience and go, even when you are with somebody in a relationship and you love them like profoundly, this is the love of my life, oh my God, that kind of feeling. It's very good to keep checking in with yourself of where am I experiencing the love? I'm like, well, what do you mean? Well, where do I experience the love? Where do I experience that love? And you'll find that it's always inside you. It's never inside them. Because nothing is ever inside anybody else. You never look out of anyone else's eyes. You never sense anything that isn't outside you. It all happens inside you. You reach out and touch a cup. You don't feel the cup in the cup. You feel it in the sensation, which is inside your system. Even if you look at somebody and you go, they don't look happy, I have a feeling, like intuition or whatever. It's all inside you. All that happens inside you. Even in my one-to-one work, I might be in Ireland, I might be working with somebody in Australia, and I might be, working with their system. It's still all happening inside me, in the mystery, behind the illusion. That's really important to come back to, particularly, say, with this kind of thing about an infatuation, because it's very easy to get distracted by it. But often what you may find is that the feelings that you have around that person or when you think about that person are something that you feel like is missing when that person is not around. So that person is kind of like a trigger for you to feel certain things, or they represent something for you. Like, let's say you're married, you've got 2 kids, and you start to notice that you've got a bit of a crush on this other person. And if you don't get confused by it's the other person, and you kind of go, well, what is it they represent? You may find, oh yeah, they're actually single, they're kind of carefree. They're just, they don't have responsibilities. They're going clubbing. They're, they just went to, on a holiday, just on the spur of the moment. They represent something that maybe is missing in your life, Or maybe the person is really confident and you're not, and you feel a little bit more confident when you're around them. Or, it can be very different things, but often the infatuation is a lot less to do with the person specifically and a lot more to do with what they represent for you. So that's the way I would kind of look at it. What's going on when I'm around that person? Why do I feel so, happy? Why do I need that person to trigger me to feel happy? Why can't I feel happy, that kind of happiness, when they're not here? Because it's all inside me. I don't feel it in their body. It's not like I need them to be able to feel this. It all happens inside me, That's a good thing to do with love anyway, is to keep coming back to where it's happening, and it's happening inside you. And the more you can find how to trigger yourself, that's not the right way to put it, but to turn on the switches or to access the love, whether the person is there or not, you become a lot freer to be with somebody because you enjoy being with them, not because you need them to trigger you. You need them to trigger the love in you. Then you're free. You're free to just be with them because you enjoy being with them, Because in my experience, the deeper you go into love, the more the more there is there, the bigger it is. So you can be in a room with people. Like I was standing at the checkout the other day, 2 days ago, and I was just noticing how I loved everybody. You know, some people were very covered in unconsciousness and, on the surface were not very, what you would call lovable. But I just could feel my heart swelling towards all these people with their stories and their lives and what they were doing. And they just all seemed so lovely to me, And I wasn't attached to anyone. It wasn't like, didn't have any agenda at all. I was just noticing it, And I think that happens the more you go into love, the more it's not specific and, I'm going to keep all my love for one person, it spreads out because I'm not looking outside myself for it, my whole focus is finding it inside me, So I feel like I'm deeply in love with somebody all the time. Because of this focus that I'm encouraging you to do. So similarly, like being infatuated with somebody is a good way of getting your attention about what you feel like is maybe missing in your life. That's a good way of kind of relating to it or using it. And then in terms of being with somebody, the freer you get on the inside, the more you can just be with somebody because you just enjoy it. It's not like I need you, this kind of Hollywood pop song kind of thing of, I need you. If you need somebody, it's built into that need is the seeds of the destruction of that relationship. Because consciousness, which is love, love and consciousness are kind of the same thing, just different ways of expressing the same thing. It won't let you shortchange yourself. It will keep you going deeper. That's my experience anyway. It'll keep you going deeper to find the source of love which is inside you. Okay, so I hope that helps. I trust you're well, I trust you're of good cheer, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.